So let's be a little transparent, right? So the generation before us that was in the military didn't get treated the way the military was treated before their generation. Just like their generation wasn't treated the same way as the generation before. So let's take this into perspective, right? Soldiers in the 1900s were treated way differently than the soldiers that were in the 1800s. Same thing as 1900 soldiers, 90s, right? Weren't treated the same way as millennial soldiers, 2000s. The military evolves, society changes, it is what it is, right? Doesn't make us weaker as a force, doesn't make us softer as a force. In fact, in my opinion, I think we're a much more lethal force now, considering all the technology, than we were back in the 90s. Yeah, we had soldiers on the ground, but nowadays, you don't even need to have soldiers on the ground. We do, because that's what we do, right? But technology is on our side. So the requirement to be hard on soldiers to fight in the battlefield is not as necessary nowadays as it was back when we went to Iraq in '03. We didn't have the technology that we have now. We didn't have all the cool toys. We didn't have all the cool equipment. We didn't have, vehicles with, armored. We didn't have armored vehicles back then, all right? These are things that play a factor in why the military is the way it is today. But my point behind people talking shit about the organization, right? And it's not the people that retired. You guys, even the retired ones that talk shit, that's fine, I'm not saying you don't have the right to, you have that God-given right. We live in a country where freedom of speech is granted. Problem is given this illusion, especially here on TikTok, social media period, right? We're given this illusion that we're weak. All right, so when you have veterans talking shit, oh, you guys are soft, and blah, 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 and then you got soldiers on here, complaining about just dumb shit. Like, it gives the illusion that our force is weak. And where I stand is, I really don't believe that our force is weak. We have challenges. I'll give you that. We have challenges. But we had challenges back in '03. We had challenges in the 90s, in the 80s, all right? Let me give you another example, right? I had an NCO that I fell under. Fucking shitbag, right? Back in '03. He spent 22 years in service. Never deployed in his entire career. And when he got told that his retirement was gonna get stop-lossed so that we can go to war, he became even more of a shitbag. When we deployed, he didn't do a damn thing. He hid, he didn't do shit. He just rode out the year, whatever. He had me do everything, go on patrol. I was put on a QRF, a Sergeant Major's QRF. Because our main mission in 4th ID was to capture Saddam Hussein. So I was there with the grunts, and they were kicking down doors. I was pulling security because that's all I can do as a Yankee, right? But back to the sergeant, right? He was soft. He was the softest piece of shit I've ever met in my life. All right, and we were in a line unit. I was in the infantry. Now I gotta tell you that even back then, I observed other NCOs and officers alike in different units that were also soft has spent the last 22, 25 years in service. But you gotta think though, and even in today's army, we still see the same exact thing. A lot of us that call other service members soft has spent time in a line unit, i.e. infantry, cav, tankers, all right, things like that. We were grunting it out, even though a lot of us weren't infantry. Like, I'm a 19 Yankee. I've always been a 19 Yankee my entire career. I've been through shit in my career. I've seen shit that not a lot of other service members have ever seen. Even service members that were downrange in 03 didn't see the shit that I saw. Didn't go through the same experiences that I did. And that's because I was in an infantry unit. I was also in CAV deployed in 0506. So I seen shit in 0506 and done shit in 0506 that no other companies or other units went through, because they stayed on the FOB or they stayed on the base, right? So these are things that we need to look at, think about really, when we want to open our mouths and express that, hey, the military's soft. That's all I'm saying. God bless. Have a good day.